16 years ago, when I was a Republican primary candidate for president, I called for scrapping the income tax and the IRS and putting in its place a national consumption tax on the final sale of goods and services. There were no senators then supporting the idea, and only a couple of House members. I made the point at the time that presidential leadership was required to improve our job-creating economic growth prospects, and that pulling out the existing tax code by root and branch was the way to do it. Now, with election of a Republican House and hopes in 2012 to gain Republican control of the Senate and the election of a Republican president, I believe we have another chance to fundamentally change the tax code. This is extremely important because our current low-growth era is accompanied by high deficits. We need to think creatively about achieving dynamic growth while simultaneously exercising fiscal restraint. A pro-growth tax code is the first and best step forward to doing so. Since 1997, when I first introduced a resolution promoting the replacement of the income tax, several people have advanced the idea to develop the FairTax. The current bill is supported by 60 members in the House, including Hoosiers Dan Burton, Marlin Stutzman, and announced gubernatorial candidate Congressman Mike Pence. I congratulate Senator Saxby Chambliss for his leadership in introducing this bill in the Senate, which is also supported by Senators Burr, Coburn, Cornyn, DeMint, Isaacson, and Moran. Today, I add my name as a co-sponsor for the FairTax. In the century prior to 1970, excluding the Great Depression, our economy grew at an annual rate of 4%. Since 1970, our economy has grown only at an annual rate of 2.8%. Without strong growth, new jobs are not created, wages are not increased, and wealth for all Americans will not grow. The FairTax fundamentally alters our prospects as a nation. Savings will increase, and therefore individuals and American companies will have more money to invest in job-creating growth, and companies around the globe will rush to invest here as well. This dynamic economic growth will expand federal revenue without an increased tax burden on Americans. This approach is not only fair, but transparent, with no more hidden tax benefits to special interests. The 2% of our GDP, or $300 billion, that Americans now pay just to understand and to comply with the complex income tax code will be saved. This would save money for millions of families and eliminate tax season aggravation. And moreover, individuals who currently pay almost no federal taxes, including foreign tourists, illegal aliens, and criminals, would pay federal taxes like everybody else. Since the 1990s, the work of economists Larry Kotlikoff and now David Turk have continued to inform the debate to end the tax on income. Neil Bortz and former Congressman John Linder's writings and leadership have brought the idea to many millions of Americans. They point out in their bestseller, The FairTax book, that low-income workers will be better off. They will no longer have Social Security and Medicare taxes withheld from their paychecks. To ensure that low-wage earners are not being taxed on necessities, all families of citizens and legal residents with a valid Social Security card would receive a tax rebate to cover taxes on basic expenditures. For a family of four, this would be $500 a month. The current tax code warps household and business decisions, discourages investment, is constantly evaded, is arduous to enforce, and is disconnected from economic realities. In short, it is fitting hand in glove with big government spending to punch the life out of our economy. Many Americans fear that our country is going bankrupt and will lose our preeminent position in the world. This does not need to be so, and will not be, if we adopt the FairTax and end the inherently flawed federal income tax system.